Okay, so welcome to this demo of the FSA web application. I'm Joe Rushton, I'm the FSA manager at Side Platform, and together with the International Trade Centre, the ITC, who are our web developers, we've been building this online platform, the FSA. Hopefully it should make your implementation much more simple, easy, and efficient. I'm going to walk through each of the FSA user types in turn, starting with buyers who are at the top of the chain, and it's their job to invite their suppliers. And there might be a number of suppliers in that chain until we get to a company that are working and sourcing directly with farms, at which point that would be the second user type, farm management group coordinator. And then finally, they would then invite the third user type, which is the farms. So we're going to start by logging in as a buyer. And here's an account that I've made earlier. And you can see here that the dashboard is completely blank. And that's because we haven't invited anybody. We're not connected to anybody in the system yet. We're just starting out. So you can see here on the left-hand pane, there are a number of tabs. First of all, you'd start with the profile information, your company name, your descriptors, maybe your profile picture. We then move on to the accounts pane, and this is where you can manage access for your other colleagues. So you can invite your procurement manager, your sustainability manager. The next step is the privacy tab, and here you can elect to be part of the FSA directory. You can share farm management group results with your buyers. You can control what gets shared with you, and you can accept and reject the permissions. And I'll show you this at the end because obviously it's currently blank. This is the network. This is where we're going to see the results come in. We then have the invite tab. This is where we're going to start the process. There are two ways that you can invite your supplier into the tool. So you can search them on the FSA directory, but it is optional to be part of that directory. So you might not see your buyer in here, and you would do that just by sending them a simple request. And then that's that invitation sent. If you can't see your buyer here, maybe they're not publicly listed, maybe they're not actually already in the tool, then you would invite them via email. So we're going to do that now and sending that invitation. We can move over to the invitation tab, and we can see here that invite has been sent. What we're going to do is log out of this buyer account, and we're actually going to log in as the supplier that we've just invited into the system. So you can see here we get an automated email from Side Platform asking us to create our account, and we'll do that now. This is the first landing page that your supplier will see. And it's asking you to join the system either as a buyer or a farm management group coordinator. And it's up to you to assess what type of company you are in the supply chain. Essentially, the key discriminator is if you're a farm management group coordinator, you are sourcing direct from farms. For the purposes of this demo, we're going to start as a coordinator. We're going to enter our first name, our last name, our company name, password, and agree to the terms and conditions. We are now looking at the network of a farm management group coordinator. The setup is very similar. You have the exact same tabs on this side in terms of the company. The one key difference here is you've got add farm management group, and that's the key difference between a buyer and a farm management group coordinator. We'll start by just selecting a profile picture for our company. We'll save that. We can have a look at the account setting, and the privacy settings are exactly the same. Likewise, the analytics, we're going to move straight ahead and invite a farm management group. Click create, and then we can fill in the name of the farm management group. And for this example, we're going to use apples in the UK. We're going to select that product, which is apple, from the drop-down list. You could fill in these optional descriptors, but we're going to save and continue. You would click the start and the end date of that assessment. So when do you want to come back to it? We then add farmers into the farm management group. And there are a couple of ways to do this, so I'm just going to explain that. If you've already got the FSA filled out in Excel, please at this stage contact us. If you haven't got any FSA data yet, there are two ways that you can invite the farms. You can invite them manually. That's just entering their email address, their name, and we recommend doing this if there are less than 15 farms in the farm management group. Probably just quicker that way. Alternatively, if you're dealing with very large farm management groups, hundreds or even thousands of farms, you can download a Excel template. You can import all of the names, email addresses, and the crops, and you can upload them all in one go. For this demo, we're going to start by entering in a farm name manually. We save that and click next. And then the system is prompting us to indicate whether we are complying with any voluntary certifications or legislations. For the purpose of the demo, we're going to say yes. So because we're in the UK, the system knows automatically to prompt us with the UK legislation and the EU Common Agricultural Policy. And then we get a list of the applicable standards. So we could choose field to market, we could choose global gap. We're going to click next, and we're going to move to stage 4, which is farm sampling. This won't be appropriate to us because we're only going to have one farm in the farm management group. At this point, we can add more farms, we can delete this farm. We're going to click next. At this stage, you have the option to invite the farm via email, and they will get an email notification just like what we saw here, asking them to log on, create their account and fill in the FSA. Right now, we're just going to launch that farm management group, and we are taken back to our company's dashboard. We can see here that there's one farm management group, it's apples, it's in the UK, there's one farm, the FSA assessment is in progress. If we look here and click on this icon, the view users icon, we can see here that there's one farm, it's Joe Rushton, and they're in progress. If, for example, we are the group agronomist, so we're a cooperative and we have an agronomy team, what I can do is I can log into that farm's dashboard and I can fill in their assessment on their behalf. So I might be visiting that farm for the day, and why not take the opportunity to fill in the FSA at the same time? And it removes the step of inviting that farm via email, training them how to use the system, answering any questions that they might have. So we can see here that we are actually in Farmer Joe Rushton's dashboard, and it's exactly the same. And there are these 8 steps to submit the FSA. So we would start here by filling in the profile information. We're then prompted to list the crops that we farm, and by default, apple has already been selected because that's the farm management group that we've been invited from. Click Save and Proceed. We then have 2 questions which help further filter the FSA. So do you have any voluntary workers? Do you irrigate? If you answer no to both of these things, then that will shorten the list of questions, because all of those irrigation questions and all of those farm worker questions will become not applicable. We would save and proceed. And then we get a preliminary score. Based on the UK legislation, we're already being told that we are reaching silver. We just need to answer a few more questions positively and we can get to gold level. So that could be it. That could be the end of the process. We could agree that we're happy with the silver result, that accurately reflects our management in terms of sustainability, and you could just submit that score and that would be the end of the process. Alternatively, you might want to see if you can get to gold, and there might be some cases where you're actually going beyond what's being asked in Global Gap and you want to be credited for that. So we're going to do that. We're going to click that we want to complete the FSA. So you can see here we have all of the FSA topics listed in order, and all of these questions have already been answered yes, because we've already said that we're complying with Global Gap. To speed things up, we're just going to filter on all of those questions which we haven't answered yet, and we will just go through those. One of the questions is, do you have a nutrient management plan? There are a number of requirements for that plan, and we can say, yes, this is something that we do. But we're going to move on and preview the result. We're getting notified that there are a number of questions that we haven't answered. That's fine. We're going to proceed, and we want to submit the report. So that is the FSA completed. At this point, you can further edit the FSA questionnaire, or you can submit it to your buyer. Essentially, we are submitting that to ourselves because we are acting on the behalf of the farm Joe Rushton. We will do that. We can now go back to our dashboard as a farm management group coordinator. We see here that this farm management group that we set up, there are no farms in progress. One farm has submitted and the score is 100% silver level, which is great. We can have a look at the farm and we can have a look at the analytics. So we can see here a breakdown of where your farm management groups are. If you want to dig into a bit more detail, you have the topic level breakdown, and this is an average of all of the farms. Of course, this is an average of 1. It's not a exact comparison. And you can drill down and you can see which farm management groups that average result is drawing from. We can also click on the diagnostic tab, get even more detailed information, so we can see the top 10 questions in our supply chain with the most yes responses. We have a look at those individual FSA questions, and of course we can filter down on the United Kingdom and apples and also the year as well. So that's how the tool currently works. If you get lost, we have a little pop-out video tutorial that will explain how the privacy settings work. And likewise, at any of the steps during the process, you can have a look and watch these easy video tutorials that will show you how to use the tool. We are going to now log out and log back in as the original buyer to kind of complete the journey. And you can see here now our network is actually populated with one farm management group. We can see here that they're in the UK, there's one farm, they're 100% submitted, and the status is 100% of the farms in that farm management group were silver level. We can see here when we click on the users, the name of the farms. This would be hidden or anonymized if we shared that in a restricted way. And we can see here the supply chain. In this case, a very simple supply chain, but in the real world, there might be many more companies in between. We're really proud of what the tool can do, and we'd be more than happy for you to reach out, connect with either myself, Jenny, or Nick, and we can give you a one-on-one tutorial and explain a bit more in detail how to get started. So once again, thank you very much for listening. Do reach out if you have any questions.